In a dense, lush forest, where the sun dapples the ground through the leaves, lived a fox known for his cleverness and a stork recognized for his grace. The forest was a bustling community, each animal busy with its daily tasks. One sunny afternoon, as the fox pranced through the forest with his coppery fur gleaming in the sunlight, he encountered the stork wading through the cool waters of a babbling brook. Feathers glistening, the stork dipped his beak gracefully between the rocks, seeking small fish. "Good day, my fine feathered friend," the fox exclaimed, his voice as smooth as cream. "Why don't you come to my den this evening? I'll prepare a delightful dinner for both of us." The stork, pleasantly surprised by the fox's invitation, agreed. His long slender legs strutted elegantly through the underbrush as he thought of sharing a meal, anticipating a delightful time with his new companion. As daylight began to fade, painting the sky with strokes of pink and orange, the stork arrived at the fox's humble abode, an earthen den tucked under a hillside. The scent of freshly cooked soup wafted through the air, promising an appetizing meal. "Welcome, welcome," the fox greeted with a mischievous grin. He laid out 2 shallow dishes on the forest floor, each filled with the aromatic soup, steam curling upwards like tendrils. The stork, with his narrow and elongated beak, stooped to try the soup but found himself unable to take more than a wet nibble. His beak clinked against the dish without letting him sip the soup. The fox, on the other hand, playfully lapped up his portion, swishing his bushy tail with each slurp. Feeling both embarrassed and hungry, the stork pecked at the soup to no avail. He realized that the fox's offer of friendship was just a superficial guise, masking his intent to have a laugh. Disappointed yet composed, the stork politely thanked the fox and flapped his wings, taking off into the evening air. As the wind rustled his feathers, he devised a plan to pay the fox back in his own coin. A few days later, spotting the fox sniffing at the morning breeze near the river, the stork called out, "My dear fox. It would be my pleasure to have you over for dinner tomorrow. I'm sure you will enjoy the feast I prepare." Expecting nothing less than a splendid meal, the fox accepted. On the arranged evening, he trotted to the stork's nest, his stomach rumbling in anticipation. The stork greeted him warmly, guiding him to a small clearing where a tall, narrow-necked jar filled with savory provisions awaited them. The aroma was rich, the kind that wraps around you and fills your senses. With a smile, the stork plunged his beak into the jar, delighting in the hearty fare inside. His eyes met the fox's, who waited eagerly to delve into the feast. But soon, the fox's eager expression twisted with confusion and then frustration, as every attempt to reach the contents of the jar ended in futility. His snout too wide, he could only lap helplessly at the base of the jar. Seeing the stork delicately enjoying his meal, comprehension dawned upon the fox. Realizing the turn of the tables, the fox chuckled softly. "What a clever host you are, my friend," he admitted, his voice tinged with regret yet a hint of admiration. The stork nodded, offering a gentle smile. "Every guest deserves a meal they can partake in, yes?" The fox, having learned his lesson, nodded with newfound humility. Together, beside the simmering brook under the watchful gaze of the moon, a tangible understanding formed between the two. And from that day onwards, the fox and the stork shared many more dinners, treating each other with fairness and respect, understanding that true hospitality lies in considering the needs of others.